My name is Alexandra, and the subject of today's webinar is EU public procurement. We'll be looking into how European small and medium-sized enterprises can effectively bid for EU public contracts. EU public contracts can be a great business opportunity. You just need to learn about how to monitor these opportunities and bid for them. Every year, over 200,000 public administration bodies in the European Union commission opportunities worth more than 400 million euros. The contracts can be for anything, starting with supplies of printing services, to construction of school facilities, to advisory policy support. The recent reform of the public procurement regime means less paperwork, shorter deadlines, and a more widespread use of digital communication tools. These improvements contribute to creating a more modern, flexible, and commercial approach to public procurement. If your enterprise is looking to secure new contracts and work with a reliable, predictable client, this presentation will help you understand what it takes to win your next contract. The new public procurement system is designed to achieve a procurement market that is competitive, open, and well-regulated. That is essential to put public funds to good use. Through introduction of a number of digital communication tools, the administrative dimension of the procurement process has become much quicker, less costly, and less bureaucratic, enabling suppliers to compete more effectively. For example, at the start of the tendering process, suitability, financial status, and abilities of each bidder are now provided with a self-declaration instead of full documentary evidence. The European Single Procurement Document, also called a business passport for companies, is a new tool introduced to make the tendering process more manageable. ESPD is available in all European Union languages and can be used as a preliminary evidence of fulfillment of all requirements. ESPD is integrated with eCertis, a mapping tool used to identify and compare certificates required in public procurement, such as those related to insolvency, conflicts of interest, environmental management standards, and others. eCertis will also help you find out what certificates are required by public authorities in a country where you have identified a suitable business opportunity. At the end of the tendering process, it is only the winning bidder who needs to provide full documentary evidence. The evidence can be provided either directly by the winning bidder, or the contracting authority can get the information directly from national databases if the bidder indicates the relevant databases in their ESPD. The new system in place introduces much less stringent financial capacity requirements. For example, to verify the financial situation of tenderers, the required annual turnover should normally not be higher than twice the contract value. Public authorities across the EU are also encouraged to commission tenders in much smaller portions, called lots. Large contracts can often be divided into smaller portions to allow the participation of smaller companies. What are the EU public procurement rules? The key rules mean an open and fair process. Tender procedures cannot discriminate against any enterprise on the grounds of registration in another EU member state. This means that regardless of which European country you're based in, your enterprise is eligible to bid for work in any other EU member state. Specification of ordered goods, services, and construction works cannot contain specific labels, trademarks, or patents. You, as a potential supplier, will determine in your offer what specific solutions are most beneficial in your view. A contracting authority cannot refuse to accept supplementary documents, including certificates and diplomas issued in another EU member state. What it means in practice is that your university diploma issued in Italy will be recognized when you bid for a new contract in France. Additionally, all tender information must be made available to every interested entrepreneur, regardless of a company's country of registration. When do EU procurement rules apply? The key word to answer this question is financial thresholds. Value of a given contract must exceed a certain value for the procurement rules to apply. A vast majority of supply and service contracts require full application of the rules for contracts above 134,000 euros, commissioned by central government authorities, or 207,000 euros for sub-central authorities. The thresholds are different for contracts in specific areas such as defense, construction, water and energy, and a few others. These specific sectors are regulated by a separate set of rules due to their importance for provision of crucial public services. For tenders of lower value, however, national rules apply, which nevertheless still have to respect general principles of the European Union law. There are some exceptions to these rules. Certain services can be awarded without the application of the rules. These include a number of legal services, public loans, public passenger transport by rail or metro, and a few others. There is a couple of exceptions to these rules. Some services can be awarded without the application of the rules. These include a number of legal services, public loans, public passenger transport by rail or metro, and a few others. There are contracts related to health or cultural services that will be tendered for a simplified procedure. That means that the rules will only just apply to contracts above 750,000 euros. Concession contracts are used as a form of a public-private partnership related to vital sectors of the economy affecting the quality of life of all EU citizens on a daily basis. Many member states use concessions to develop large infrastructure projects, an area where Europe's needs remain considerable. Regardless of the sector, you want to stay on top of things and identify your opportunities as soon as possible. The EU have therefore developed an online tool to make sure that all such information is shared on a regular basis. It's called TED. TED will allow you to search for opportunities based on the sector, country, and the client. You can browse, search, and save your searches, as well as subscribe for free email notifications. The service is entirely free of charge. 520,000 procurement notices are announced via TED every year. This includes 210,000 calls for tenders worth approximately 420 billion euros. All notices are available in the 20 EU languages. A vast majority of notices published via TED come from EU member states. This is nearly 97% of all notices. Some come through central EU institutions or the European Economic Area countries. You can also access these opportunities. All it takes is a quick registration through ECAS. Remember, you can also keep up with the notices via Twitter. The tendering process is not very complex. It's actually quite straightforward. The sooner you find out about a new opportunity, the more time you have to define your strategy. Although not obliged to do so, public authorities are encouraged to hold early market engagement consultations with the private sector. The result of the consultations can feed into the process of designing the scope of some contracts, including the technical specifications. It would typically take place at a very early stage prior to a forecast being published. More often, however, the tendering process starts with publication of a prior information notice. This provides suppliers with as much information as possible at this early stage. It is an optional step for the public authorities, although it does happen quite often. Call for expressions of interest will result in a short list of economic operators invited to submit their offers. You would typically expect to showcase your technical capacity to deliver certain services or supplies in order to be shortlisted. When a contract notice is published via TED, you will know exactly what the client expectations are. While reviewing the tender documentation, the following elements should receive special attention to determine your eligibility and how your enterprise can position itself against other bidders. For example, is your enterprise eligible to participate in the procedure? Remember, there are a number of grounds for the exclusion of suppliers based on evidence of unsuitability. The reasons can include insolvency, criminal record, failing your tax duties, and others. Do you know what the financial requirements are? As mentioned previously, the required turnover should not normally exceed twice the value of the contract. What are the technical specifications? What is the tender procedure? Most often it is an unlimited tender or a limited one, giving you between 36 to 52 days to prepare your offer. Procurement in the water Energy, transport and postal services sectors might involve a negotiation procedure directed to a limited number of potential suppliers. Other variations often apply to large infrastructural contracts. The contract notice will give you all the required details. Remember, you can submit a request for clarifications via TED. The contract notice will tell you how much in advance of the given deadline your request needs to be submitted. In order to prepare a winning offer, you will want to consult the best practice. The contract notice will determine what scope of supplies or services is expected by the client. In your offer, you will need to demonstrate your experience to deliver on these objectives. You might want to consider teaming up with another enterprise to strengthen your ability to deliver the contract. For instance, a partner enterprise could help you cover specific areas of the contract in which your experience is not very strong. It is also a good practice to demonstrate your experience against the technical specifications. Showcasing your capacity and experience delivering similar services, works or supplies will be a key element of your tender proposal. The more specific the examples, the better. Demonstrating value for money is also a good practice. This includes an assessment of the price-quality ratio, which can include social and environmental requirements, provided they relate to the contract, of course. You will want to demonstrate that you can provide innovative solutions sustainable through the total life cycle of the contract. There is a number of online tools that you can use to broaden your network and get the latest know-how from your area of interest. The information system for public procurement is certainly one of them. Through SIMAP, you can link up with other suppliers in your respective business area and learn about the tender documentation requirements. Now that you've submitted your tender, you'll be keeping your fingers crossed to be successful. Should you be successful, there is usually a 10 to 15-day standstill period between the point when the decision of the award of the contract is made and communicated and the signature of the contract. This allows suppliers to seek effective review of contracting authorities' decisions, and you can put through a request to receive some feedback. While preparing your offer, remember that there is a number of online resources that you can consult to find out about details specific to your respective business area and to the EU public procurement processes. You can consult TRIS for national technical regulations in specific sectors, or COSING for information on cosmetic substances and ingredients. Remember, consult the website of SESAM, a program funded by the EU to improve access of small and medium-sized enterprises to cross-border public procurement. SESAM's website provides guidance on how to effectively bid for contracts published by national authorities as well as central EU institutions.